Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. This is a pretty dreadful opening rack. Way too many vowels and the UW combination. I can't see a good way of scoring anything half decent, so I'm going to change. And I'll keep EL. That looks a lot more promising. I can't see a 7 with this rack. I suspect there may be some 8s, although none has come to mind. However, good scoring tiles in the H and the M, so I should be able to score something and leave a decent rack leave. I've got the home component word and the heli prefix, the ED ending. None of those are suggesting anything to me. So what if opponent changes? I could play homed, but the rack leave of IL is pretty unpromising. Okay, so really just the V to consider. I don't think the I and the O particularly help. Vivo is a tricky word to be up against in the sense that it really totally eliminates parallel plays because there are no 2-letter V words. So the best I could do would be to start above the O. That's not going to score very much. So what do I do, or what do I have through the first V? Do I have a play which gets doubled? I've got hovel, but that doesn't. And I'm also looking to play off one of my scoring tiles, either the H or the M. Now I've got movie, but again that doesn't get doubled. Vomd is 2 M's. Well, I could play through the I. What can I do there? Wow, this is just really tricky. I guess I could play Veil through the V. Olive. 16 points keeping DHM. That cannot be best. Gosh. I guess this is a comment really on how tricky Vivo is to play against. But I'm really not seeing anything to play here. Vild for 16. Vild does take an E at the end, but I kept it back because it just made it too easy for opponent to score well off it, and by keeping it back I knew that I at least had that hook even if my opponent doesn't. Now, not a particularly great rack, but my rack leave of home was unlikely to give a bingo on this turn. I guess my opponent is likely to play around Vild because playing off Vivo is going to provide floaters and not score very much. Basically the same problem as I had. So I have Hugh and Vildy keeping more. That's a slightly better rack lead than last time because it's only one scoring tile that I'll be retaining. Only just over 20 points though, so not great. I have humour on my rack, but if I play that, I'll be keeping just vowels. I have the over prefix through the second V of Vivo, but no bingo there. Great, just 14 points for my opponent, and that illustrates quite how problematic playing off Vivo is. So, opponent's left alone the Wilde hook. I think I should take it. Can I do any better than Hugh? Hugh is good, but I think the R is better off on my rack. So Hugh for 21. And I'm just wondering if I have a play in column 4, but I don't think I do, because I think it is a priority to get rid of the U. And no such play exists in column 4. So Hugh for 21. I have the J, which is a decent scoring tile. I have Emoji and Ojim on my rack. Very slow start to this game for both of us. 37 and 34 points, and we've both spent about 3 or 4 minutes of time. However, it will explode into life at some point, because that's inevitable with 2 blanks and 4 S's. Not seeing anywhere for my J plays. Had I retained the U, I would have G Hugh. Wilde takes nothing after it. I was going to say I have Jimp. That's been taken out. Opponent, well, this is interesting. Pax takes an E in front. So I could play Emoji. Let me see what that scores. That's 40 points. That's pretty good. Excellent rack leave. Let me put it back. Can I get the J tripled twice? So that would be a play ending OJ. I don't have one. Do I have anything with the J using the T? No. Do I have a play in column 12 getting the J doubled? No. Ojin gets the J doubled, but I think Emoji scores more, and it is taking out this double letter square. I'm going with this. Great, that looks very much in bingo territory. I have Roundel on my rack. And possibly some other 7s. Do I have any 8s? In particular, do I have anything through the I? I'll be looking to make up some time. So I don't want to spend ages on this move. Once I've got a bingo, I'm going to be reasonably happy to play it. I mean, it's possible there isn't one. Unlorded is good. That doesn't work with this D. J not helpful. The I looks helpful, but I'm not seeing a bingo there. Nowhere for Roundel. Epax takes nothing in front. Fops takes nothing. Wilde takes nothing. Hugh takes nothing. So a really dry board in terms of hooks. The H doesn't look helpful. The C, barely accessible. So no 7-letter lanes on this board. But if opponent plays in column 15, especially if he plays down from this I, he could open a 7-letter lane. And I'm just wondering about the anagrams of Roundel. I think it's Roundul, with the E and the L switched, and that takes a T at the end. and Lounder, I think, which takes an F in front. Although I'm not totally sure on that one. I've got the under prefix with OL. Can't see anything with the P. The M not available because of the C. And I've got no scoring tiles, so if I don't bingo, I'm going to struggle to score. Well, my initial enthusiasm for this rack has been dampened somewhat. Okay, so opponent does provide a spot for a 7-letter lane. None of the bingos I've suggested go there. Now, I have Eurodilan through the A. Wow, that was available before. My opponent has not provided an option for it. It's Euroland, Eurodilan, and one other which I had in mind literally seconds ago, which doesn't go, Unloader, that's the one. So Euroland or Eurodilan. Got to be Euroland, I think. Let's have a look. Euroland, Eurodilan places an E underneath this double word square. So Euroland for 63. I don't have anything ending in B. What about something ending in E? Don't know. Okay, I'm going with this. Eurodilan would place a U under this double word square, not an E, as I said. Horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Always a pain to see W and U, and this is the second time this game I've seen that combo. Had it with my opening rack that I changed. Onto an A, I would have Wu Chia, and I've just taken out that A. If I can score enough, and I'm hopeful that I can, then I think playing through this is going to be better than changing. Can't see anything beginning with the T. A TW play would be nice, but I'm not seeing one. I have Wox in row E, making Zoo and O. And also Wex in that spot, in case opponent plays down from column 8, placing an E above the R. I don't think I have a play in column 8. I have Deux, but that doesn't score. It's almost certainly not pronounced that do, perhaps, D-O-U-X, but that doesn't score very much. I also have that in column 13, where it does score a little bit more, and again would be better than changing. I have a 60-point lead. Euroland has taken out column 14 as a bingo lane, unless Eurolander is good, and I don't think it is. Well, I've absolutely no idea if it is. So it's a pure guess on my part that it isn't. D is a new available floater. Now I could play Ox, Ox and Roof. That's quite nice. I have Oxic as well, even better. Bad thing about that is that it retains GUW, but that remains available. Interesting, just as my Wox spot is taken. Yui takes out column 8, not a problem. Probably more useful for my opponent than me, since I am ahead. Wow, look at this, 47 points. And I may get out of jail with a kind draw. And this provides nothing for my opponent. Now I note that I could play Wox and Zoo. $35 points, so a lot fewer points. I'm going with this. And I do get a kind draw. Not that I have a bingo, although I feel this is close. but I should be able to sort the rack out. And I think that involves playing 2 out of G, U and W. So I could play rung, and that actually plays making nu and G rather. Vildi has really choked up the bottom of the board. That was an unexpected consequence of playing it. I thought the E hook would have the potential for opening the board up, but the Hue play has really eliminated that. So it's really down to plays from the D or through the H or parallel play in row M. Just wondering if there is an 8 with this rack. Not seeing anything, so at the moment all I've seen is rung, but that's pretty good. Rack leave of ES doesn't give much away. Of course, that could be blocked. I have an 83-point lead, but opponent on turn, so I'm a little bit ahead. Still both blanks to come, still 2 S's out there. UE only takes a Q in front, and the Q is unplayed. I have girl, G-U-R-L, in row J, but that keeps the W and doesn't score very much, so I'm not a fan of that. I'm just wondering if there are any spots to play G and W, and there is. Look at this, I've got Gowd in column 13, and the rack leave of ENRSU, even though it's got a U, is pretty good, and that's partly because of the un prefix. So let me see what this scores. That's 26 points. Row D not particularly hot, even though U takes an A in front, so it is a bingo lane. Rung, I could play 1 square to the left, getting the W doubled. 29 points, keeping ES. I think this rack leave is better than ES, and rung provides a fairly easy opportunity for my opponent to score. I'm going with Gowd. I could extend it to Gowder, but I prefer the ER on my rack. Pretty good. That looks very close to a bingo. But is this one of these plausible looking racks, or bingo-y looking racks, which doesn't actually have one? So I have Denarius in row K, and that D's stayed available for quite a while. Let's see if it can hang on for one more turn. Do I have anything through the H? Not that I can see. Raj and Gowd has choked up the top of the board. So row D is the most likely looking spot. I don't think there is a 7 here. Sani is a really strong 6-letter set. And I don't think it goes with a U. Could be wrong. Now, how about a play through the L? Not seeing anything. Denarius has a couple of anagrams. Uranides. And well, is it unraised? It is, but I'm pretty sure unraised is not good. Yeah, it's not, so that's why this rack superficially looks like there's unraised there. It's because unraised is good. Fantastic! Opponent leaves Denarius alone, and he's so close to it, and he doesn't block it, which is fantastic. So I have Denarius for 68. Great. Not so great to see all the vowels, but the blank is always a pleasure to have on your rack. It's great to have it, and it's great that your opponent doesn't have it. I have a 130-point lead. Opponent down to his last 7 minutes with 30 tiles in the bag, so it may be in my interests to play quite quickly. Clearly he's playing even slower than I am. And that could be because he's a slow player, or because he has a lot to think about. So, I could play AWA in row D and RU, which takes out row D as a bingo lane, and doesn't create a new one. RU takes nothing in front. And that sorts the rack out quite nicely. AEO blank is pretty good if I draw consonants. Let me check the remaining vowel situation. 11 out of 35. Wow. Vowel dry, which is good for me. Opponent interrupts that Q spot. So I could play WAS for 30, or hour 15. I think I'm quite tempted to go with this, even though this rack leave is horrendous, and playing off an A would be much better. There's a vowel shortage, plus WAS takes out an easy opportunity for my opponent to score 30 points, and the W not a particularly useful bingo floater. I'm going with this. Okay, not good, only 1 point tiles and a lot of vowels. But I do have 130 point breathing space. So how to sort this rack out? I certainly need to play off for an A and an O. Just wondering, maybe I should have played AWA, because any play through the W through the Z is going to create floaters, and with a blank I should be gunning for a bingo. Oh well, too late to cry over spilt milk. I'm not in a strong position now. So where can I play my A? Wow, that is painful. That is painful. However, I do now have an ANOA spot. My rack leave's good. The blank is gone. Only 64 points for my opponent. He didn't get it doubled. A shame I can't get more than 23, but this rack leave's pretty strong. I'm going with this. Okay, I have Cytodes on my rack. I have Ekdyson, which takes an E. Fantastic, I have Ekdyson in, and that plays better here. Ekdyson for 101. Bang! Surely that secures the win. I'm 150 points ahead. I have the Q. The UE spot's gone. I have Chi at the top. Is there another I available? There is in Vildi, so I'm not going to be stuck with the Q. 4 tiles in the bag. And that was really good of my opponent to play amble and provide floaters. Although the rack was bingo-y, there wasn't a huge number of bingo lanes, and I was about to start looking for bingos beginning with S. No guarantee that there was one. So it'd be nice to play off an A with the Q. Through a T I would have Trank, and look at this, Trank available in row H. Fantastic. Still more blood available in this game. 435 points. If that stays available, I may be able to get close to the 500 point mark. I still think the WAS play had merit. It wasn't, although opponent bingoed off it. I think he was going to bingo somewhere with that rack anyway, especially given the Uggs hook. He didn't score very much for it, only 64 points. He did provide access to a triple word square, so I think it was a risk worth taking. So all 4 U's have been played. Just looking to see if any of them are available for my queue, and they're not. Nice score for my opponent, 35 points. Leaves Trank alone. Remaining tiles pretty bingo-y, so opponent could go out in style. I have Trank for 45. So he has Tornade. He has non-rated in column 14, so it's not going to be enough for my opponent, but it's a nice way to go out. Will he see it, or will he see something better? Should he miss it, can I go out? Well, yes, well, I'm just wondering about Heyen. I think that's one of those plausible words which isn't good. Pretty sure it's not good, actually. And it is good, so that's a good spot by me. I could play that underneath the S of Denarius. Maybe it's Gayen, which isn't good. That's also good. I think you'll find almost every word ending A-E-N is good. Now, do I have a second spot for Heyen? Not seen one so far. 2 minutes on opponent's clock. Non-rated, not the easiest bingo to see. I think I played it recently, which helps. I have every 7 and 8 letter word in my card box, and I played a tournament at Milton Keynes yesterday, and I played Homines, H-O-M-I-N-E-S, and I got back, and when I returned to my card box, the very first question I was presented with was Homines, and I think that's the first time that's ever happened. A bit freaky. Fortunately, I got it. It would be really galling to miss a bingo that is the very next word in your card box. Fortunately, that's not happened to me. Well, I don't know if opponent's spotted non-rated and is just waiting for the clock to run down. But I imagine he would play it fairly quickly after seeing it. I don't think there's any other candidate moves, or not many other lanes to consider. I guess there's just the B and the M being very unlikely. Matroned possibly, which doesn't go. And I can't see anything with the B. I've got 10 minutes on my clock. I spent ages over my initial moves, I felt. I'm sure I commented on us having spent 3 or 4 minutes and both of us were just at 30 points. So I managed to score the next 430 points or 450 points in about 6 minutes of my time. But of course I'm able to think on my opponent's time as well, and he's almost used all of that. Great, opponent misses non-rated. He blocks my Heyen spot. So is good, but Ra isn't. So does that mean I can't go out? I mean, I have been looking around for other outs, I just haven't seen any. Can't see anything with the I or the L. Nothing with the N. Okay, so I've got high and something. Fack and feck not good. Don't think there's anything down here. Henna's good, but that's just blocked. So where's the best spot for my H? Opponent will go out with add, so maybe it's a play here. Hen for 22, opponent can play da, but I'm pretty sure he's going to have a D spot elsewhere, and this is going to take me over 500. So hen for 22, what would Ha have scored? Only 20. Any other H spots? I'm just having a quick squiz. I've got 8 minutes on my clock. The game is won. Can't get my H tripled twice. Yeah, that's all I can see. And opponent now can play da. He can also play da higher up. For only 2 fewer points. He's got add at the top. Da in row A. Add and IU. Well, a ton of options. Probably da is the highest scoring. And he has 13 seconds left. And the final score, 363 to my opponent, 502 to me, a winning margin of 139 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Well, the game didn't look like it was going to be such a blowout in the initial stages. Very tight. My opening rack, I changed Louis for 12, keeping EW. I think that's marginal. I think you could play Louis, and I think changing is fine as well. The main problem with Louis is that the score's pretty crappy, and you're providing a ton of floaters for your opponent. Opponent's rack, pretty grim. He plays Vivo. And now this was a rack which I just struggled with. Vame, yeah, that would have been pretty good. 24, Rackley, okay. Hoyd also quite good. Yeah, through the eye. Hemoid. Okay, so quite a few good words here. And I was just slow off the mark and didn't really spot them. But Wild has its own merits. And look at this, opponent doesn't have the E. Plays Fop. And now I have Hugh. Which I like, but also, I think Mue also has merit, keeping HER. Opponent's rack, he plays Pacts. And now I have Emoji for 40 and nothing obviously better. Wow! Missed bingo for my opponent. He has Bleria, F8, through the A of E Pacts, doesn't see it, plays Belia, or chooses not to play it. And this was my rack, and look at this, just the two, Euroland and Eurodilan. So delighted to spot that. Opponent's rack, not nice, plays UE, my rack also not nice, and I have Oxic for 47. Poor Rackley, but really nice score. Wow, I was just waiting for a bingo to pop up. There isn't one. Opponent plays Raj. And I thought about Rung for 29, and I preferred Goud for 26 because I think ENRSU is at least 3 points better than ES. And actually, probably significantly more than that, maybe 8 or 9 points better. Plus, Rung provides access to premium squares, provides 3 floaters, and I think that counts against it as well. Opponent plays Fig, and now I have Denarius, and it is the only bingo. What does opponent do here? He plays Zig, and now this was where I was faced with a choice between Waz and Awa. And I went with Waz for 30. And I still like that. Opponent would have played through it, possibly a longer word, opening 2 bingo lanes through whatever tiles were in rows A or B, and also in column 2. Opponent's rack, has a choice of bingos, plays wittiest, and I have a Noah for 23 to sort the rack out and take out that dangerous premium square. Opponent trails by 80, has an unbalanced rack and only 15 tiles left. Plays amble, which is great because I get Ekdyson down for 101. And look at that. Apart from Ekdyson in 2 spots in the bottom row, the only other bingo was decoyers. Wow, again playable in 2 spots through that E, so that E proved absolutely crucial. I would definitely have spent a while looking for a bingo if opponent hadn't played amble, and there was no playable one. So I get a Ekdyson down, and that pretty much secures the win. Opponent has trinket and knitter. Nowhere for them. Plays kilt. I have trank for 45. Opponent has non-rated, doesn't spot it. And finally, there was no out, and I play hen for 22. And actually, let's just see what's best here. I'm just curious because opponent played add straight after, and hen was the best play. And finally, opponent's best move is da, which he plays. So that's the end of that game. Absolutely fantastic stuff. It's always good to win, and to win by a big margin, and to smash through the 500 mark. So absolutely fantastic stuff. Back-to-back wins for me in this video series. So hopefully my rating's going to be moving back up to where it belongs, which is always higher than where it actually is. So I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.